Okay, probably slightly but steadily we should start with the second session for today. So thank you all for being around. I know how intensive these days and afternoons are with Zoom meetings in the last year and a half. And it's personally and professionally for me a pleasure to be in this circle of people, organizers, trainers, partners, participants, and as it was said in the beginning, quite a few of us swapped between various roles. It's very good that most, if not all, of the participants are going to be encouraged to share experiences and practices throughout the event. After earlier today, we heard quite a lot about the community of people who are around this program, about the partners, about the logic and the necessity of this program. We are now going to move to the content, what's in the modules, what's in the program. I will start by a relatively brief presentation in which I will just like a 1-minute snapshot into each module, and then today we aim to cover 3 of the modules in slightly more details, like 20-minute presentations from some of the core trainers and partners. I didn't introduce myself, by the way. My name is Radu Rusev. I have the privilege of knowing quite a few of you, the people who are around. But for those who don't know me, I'm an ex-water person from ex-in-house water person. I'm still a water person. Many years in Sofia Water, currently doing various advisory things, mainly for IAWD. And I have the real pleasure to be something like a coordinator of this program. Now I would like to move to, I would like to share my screen and present. Can you see my screen? Someone to confirm, please?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. I'll put it on a full mode and then I'll go into the slides. I think in preparation of the program, one of the biggest, if not the biggest challenge has been to address its coverage, to make sure that we cover a whole lot of topics. That's why I put as a title here that the UMT program and the modules, we aim to go wide and we go deep only where our trainers and our partners, practitioners believe it's necessary. You know the modules very well. It's a compilation of 8 different modules, a compilation of technical operations, but also commercial, financial, and economic and regulatory topics. I would like now to spend roughly a minute for each of them and just outline some key topics and concepts. We'll start next month, and in a bit, Sylvia and Vasil will tell you more about the financial and organizational management module, our first module. I think there are a couple of key focus areas. One is the management accounting, cost centers, budgeting, forecasting, variance analysis, etc. And then also the economic and financial analysis of water projects, 2 very complementary topics. In addition to them, we have the last day and a half, a focus on organizational and HR aspects. This is a module in which we are partnering with the Faculty of Economics, Sofia University. Some of the things will be demonstrated in Sofia Water, and on the HR things, Tirana Water will join as well. Moving to the second one, commercial management and customer service, a module in which we are partnering with Energia AG, with their Czech operations. The big focus here is what we call the commercial cycle, the combination of meter management, reading, billing, and collection, these 4 interrelated topics. And then towards the end of the module, we will focus a bit more on the soft aspects, on the customer service, which is quite a trendy topic. Call centers, e-services, COVID is quite a topic here as well, etc. This module will be straight after the summer break, so September practically. By the end of this year, we need to cover asset management and investment planning together with UTSI, with the technical partnership of Hydrocomp. Many of you know that asset management is a topic that has been nicely covered in the Danube Water program. There is a technical program on asset management, one that is well known. we'll step on that. So topics related to data capture, to software management of assets, preventative maintenance, condition assessment will be included. We'll try to build on that by some non-technical aspects like financial and regulatory issues related to asset management, and that would be a bridge to investment planning. But to be honest, the core of that is asset management. Moving forward, water sector is by default a network sector, so the network operation is a very, very key topic, very key module. The one thing which I want to say here is that network operations has a lot more than non-revenue water. Personally, as someone who's been doing work in quite a few countries, I believe that the focus on non-revenue water is ridiculously high. I don't want to say that this is not rightly so, but we'll try to cover a width of topics related to network operations, zoning, monitoring, etc. I didn't mention this in previous modules, but for all the modules, and this one is a very good example, technologies will play a key role. We don't have a module on technologies only, because technologies have to fall under certain areas. Network operations, as the colleagues from Siemens and SCAN mentioned, are heavily rapidly developing, so there would be quite a lot in here. Also things like economics of network operations, budgeting, etc. That's why we're starting with finance, so some of the concepts for budgeting and cost analysis and cost controls will be introduced early in the program. You see quite a few logos here. The competence partner are our friends from Cubicle. Some of the things will be demonstrated in Sofia Water, but some of our corporate partners will demonstrate and elaborate on technologies here, like SCAN and Siemens. Moving forward, energy management and energy efficiency, again, similarly to other modules under the Danube Water program, under GLEAP, a lot was developed and implemented as technical programs in recent years, and one of the programs was energy efficiency. Now, because we're talking about a management program, we decided to slightly expand it and to focus first on energy management and then move to energy efficiency. So there will be some introductory topics like energy balancing before we moved into the more technical stuff of energy audits, field measurement campaigns, then developing of business cases, etc. So again, earlier concepts like the financial metrics, the financial and economic analysis will be introduced in here. What else needs to be said here? This module physically is planned to take place in Albania, in Durrës Water. I'm very glad that there are people from Durrës in the chat today. Technically, the partner will be a Connor Layer, a very competent company with whom we have good experience on the energy efficiency topic. Plant management is next. If we had more time and the ability to have more modules, probably we would have separated potable water from wastewater treatment plants. For obvious reasons, we decided to combine them in one big topic called plant management that will cover both the treatment processes and technologies, the technical and operations part of things, but we'll also move towards some non-technical, rather organizational and financial aspects like cost control, like investment planning of treatment plants. Particularly on the wastewater side, topics like energy efficiency and energy management, as many of you know, are big topics. Sludge is becoming also a huge topic, and regulations, particularly the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive, is under consultation at the moment. So this is something which will change the game significantly. And in the recent year and a half, due to COVID, wastewater became quite a topic due to epidemiological surveillance and other topics. My colleagues and partners from Hydrolia will play a role here as a competence partner, and our utility partners of Sofia Water and Energy will help us to demonstrate some of their facilities. Moving forward, utility economics, regulation and risk, we decided that it's not enough to have finance in the beginning, because the finance in the beginning is more about in-house financial management and management accounting. and related concepts, while here we will focus much more on the economics, although there are some overlapping topics. Also on regulation, tariffs, and related topics. Here we may elaborate a bit more on policy developments, on tariff models, the difference between regulation, policy making, and governance. This is not semantics, in my opinion. These things have to be well differentiated, particularly by the people who attend our program. Again, the partner here will be the Faculty of Economics and Business Administration. I didn't find a proper picture. That's why a screenshot of the first page of the book of Michael Rouse, which will be one of the recommended readings for the program. And last but not least, we decided to leave water safety planning for the final 8th module, not least because we intend to have this in Vienna, and as the program starts in Sofia, we decided to finish it in Vienna. Some very well structured methodologies related to water safety planning, risks, crises, and hazards, how they are classified, how they are mitigated, practical approaches to business continuity in various utility frames. It will be interesting to compare how various utilities do this in-house. I'm sure all of you, the participants, have some sort of practical but also formalized processes, but it will be interesting to compare. The partners here are Protectum Solutions and again Energia AG as a utility partner that will demonstrate some of these methodologies. These are our 8 modules. Some of them are ready, some are almost ready, others are under development. We expect that all the participants will actively share their practices throughout the program for the sake of having proper discussion on everything and to keep things as practical as possible. I would like to conclude that basically this program is about exposing all the participants and ourselves, I mean the people who are behind the program, to various practices, maintaining a steady, healthy and open dialogue, and as Kati and Phil said in the beginning, about building this community of practitioners, community of practice. Thank you. I almost stuck to the time, almost, and I would like to now unshare or stop share, whatever I need to do. And without wasting much, I mean, I'm sure that there is too much condensed material in this program. Each module is scheduled to take place over a couple of months. So there will be time for that. I think the biggest challenge to our trainers is to find the balance between the range of topics and the level of depth in which they need to go for some of the topics which we have considered to be the most important. In any module, in all modules, without exception, we will be working with some utilities to demonstrate practices, but we'll be also actively exploring the experiences of other utilities. And basically, by the end of today and over the whole day tomorrow, we'll give the floor to our trainers and partners and some selected practitioners, let's say, to tell us more about each and every of these modules. Roughly 2 persons will speak for each and every module for around 20 minutes, plus minus. So it's a pleasure for me to be moderating these things, to be working with these guys and girls in developing these programs, in these modules. I would now like to move to the financial and organizational management module. Vasil and Sylvia are around, our core trainers. What I would like to say just before I give them the floor is that this module is the introductory module, and this module provides some pretty foundational framework for what the utility finances are, for how they can be looked upon. I wouldn't say in an absolutely unified way, but there are too many similarities that justify certain unification that Sylvia and Vasil will provide. Sylvia is a practitioner with many years of experience. I've personally worked with her for around 10 years in Sofia Water and in various consulting assignments afterwards, so I am quite familiar with what she can in the area of management accounting particularly, while Vasco is a bit more on the academic side, but also a practitioner that can bring some of the theory to the utility sector. So Sylvia, I'll pass the word to you. Please unmute yourself and give your best to tell us what financial management and management accounting is about.
Thank you, Rado. I'll try. Hello, everyone. I'm Sylvia, and I'm a trainer in sections management accounting and financial statements in water utilities. So let me introduce you to the contents of these two sections and with their core subjects that we'll go through the training. Yeah, we'll start with management accounting, and first we'll focus on management accounting tools and techniques, and primarily on their importance and value to the management to ensure that companies' financial sustainability through cost control. And we'll start with CAPEX, OPEX, and TOTEX. We'll go through the definitions of CAPEX, OPEX, and TOTEX. We'll discuss the difference between them. We'll emphasize on the importance of CAPEX in capital-intensive industries, as the water industry is. And we'll go through examples of initial measurement and recognition of CAPEX in water companies in Western Europe. So we'll look also at the importance of OPEX as a core measurement of company's efficiency. And we'll also look at examples of OPEX, specific OPEX categories in water companies. And finally, in this main topic, we'll look at CAPEX and OPEX performance reports in water companies. Next, we'll go through a main topic and very important topic, the cost centers. And we'll discuss what's the concept of responsibility centers and their importance in cost control and in management performance assessment. We'll also have examples of OPEX and CAPEX cost center structures, specifically in water companies. And we'll look at such examples of CAPEX and OPEX cost centers performance reports, again in water companies. So our focus is this management accounting in water companies. Costing is the next topic, and part of the definition of different types of costs. We'll go through the essential role of fixed costs in the tariffs of water utility services, as the fixed costs play a big part of total costs in water companies, and that's very important for the water tariffing. We'll go through the different methods of costing with different examples. Next, we'll review another very core topic, which is budgeting and forecasting. And we'll look at the roles, at the role of the budgets in setting goals and measuring performance. I mean the performance of the company, the financial results of the company, and assessments of the management within the company. We'll review the budget contents and techniques of budgeting, and what are the steps in budget preparation. Also, we'll discuss the very important role of budget holders in the budget preparation process, and what is the role of the management accountants in this process, as they have the task to make sure that bad practices or bad budgeting is not happening within the budget. Very interesting topic. We'll also have examples of budgets and variance analysis reports, which is actuals versus budget in water companies. And I hope that you'll deliver us with such examples so that we may make much interesting the topic of budget and variance analysis. And we'll review other forecasting methods and other management accounting tools like variance analysis and benchmarking in water utility sector. Next section is financial statements, in which we will focus on understanding the meaning of the three main important financial reports: the P&L, the cash flow, and the balance sheet, which give us the wide view of the company's performance. And we look at their structure and basic components, and we'll discuss the meaning of the financial ratios that we may derive from them. So that's the most important part of my two sections. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sylvia. You can unshare your screen, or probably I can do it.
I'll do it.
Thank you. The second major trainer for this module is Vasil, who comes from the University of Sofia, but he'll introduce himself and the topics that he will be responsible for during the module. Floor is yours, Vasco.
Thank you, Rado. You hear me, right? Okay. Hello, I'm professor from the new university, and the first thing I'll tell you, there will be an exam. Be ready for it. One soon. As Rado said, I have both practical experience and university experience. I've been teaching project finance in utilities and energy and ICT sector for the last 10 years. I've been teaching investments for the last 20 years, and I've been working in capital markets for the last 20 years also. And I've been involved in many transactions on project finance, and in particular water concessions for water infrastructure, and other projects in utilities. Now, let me show you my slides. I believe you see them. You will not understand a lot today. You understand a little bit about our problem because it's, well, you need to feel it during the actual education. So things get really serious when you start from the very end. What I mean, our first module, the module of Sylvia and myself, is on financial management. And do you know the word finance, its origin, its etymology? It comes from the Latin word finis, and finis is the word from which finish, the end, has originated. And finis, its meaning in Old Latin was to end a debt. in a good way, which means to pay it back full. So it's very good to start with the end, and it's very good to start with the very serious topic, the finance, the financial management. And now, as Sylvia mentioned, that there will be some economics. And I'm sure that you've seen all these curves about supply and demand. You remember them for sure. And the person who invented this approach in economics, Alfred Marshall, he said that economics is a branch of what? Biology. Biology, do you believe it? Biology broadly interpreted. I'm serious. This is not a joke. This is a real statement from Alfred Marshall some 350 years ago. And another message to you is my favorite sentence on education, which was delivered by Plato, the old Greek philosopher Plato, 2,400 years ago. And it was, in order to teach children, in a good way, you need to let them play and feel good in a good environment. So this is my approach to education, and this is what we'll do with Sylvia. We'll try to, not starting from the very serious topic from the end, but also we'll try to entertain you. And because finance is fun. Yes, it is really fun. And when we are talking about competition and economics and finance, and one of the topics in economics is inevitably the competition. On the left side is a glass of water. This water is from my tap, which is connected to Sofia water. And on the right is a bottle of water. You've seen that. What is the difference? Well, if you ask me, of course, I know the answer, but on the right side, you can see oil. 60% of the cost of this bottle is oil. This is the business of selling oil through water. Yes, only 1/3 is the cost of depreciation, which is the capital, and labor. So capital and labor is only 1/3. 60% is oil. It's a plastic bottle. The plastic is made of oil. The transportation to deliver it to the shop nearby, much of the cost is again oil. So that's why it's calculated. I've calculated, and other people calculated it. 60% is oil. On the left, the tap water, the water, as I mentioned, the water from Sofia water. This cost here is 60% capital and labor. Energy is included, but here 60% is capital and labor. And the same final result, a glass of water, but the business model is completely different. What is another interesting fact is that you all know that the very big part of infrastructure, water utilities infrastructure is underground. You cannot see it, you cannot touch it most of the time, but you need to manage it, and you need to do the financial management of it too. Finance related to this. And what you can do? Well, you know this guy? Do it like Monk, ask and answer all possible questions. Or do you remember Dr. House? Tell them they're idiots and check if they lied to you. So you need to do a lot of analysis in your financial management activities. This is really a big game. Either you're a detective or you're a magician like Dr. House. And I deliberately use these two characters. Most of the time they don't see most of the details. It is like in the water industry. It's underground, as I said. So it will be fun. And we'll use, of course, some instruments like net present value, internal rate of return. Of course, I'll ask you intriguing questions like, which is bigger, 100 euro or 1 million euro? And we'll develop the notions of cash flows, cash stocks, all the related financial instruments. You've already, I'm sure you are aware of them, but you haven't played, you haven't had such fun with finance and all these details before like you have now. So welcome to our course, and me and Sylvia, we promise that it will be fun, believe me. And as water is related and involved deeply, so this thing will be at the end very, very wet, I promise. So see you soon.
Thank you, Vasil. I believe there will be things outside the fun as well. Within the module, thank you. Thanks, Sylvia. I would just like to add that this is our financial module, but we call it financial and organizational module. And in addition to the sections of this module, which Sylvia and Vasil presented, because it's fair to say that 90% of the module or 80% is finance related, but it also has to cover a bit of organizational aspects. So we are going to have two sections covered within one day, in which we're going to present a compilation of good practices related to HR policies on recruitment, talent development, performance-based remuneration of certain positions, succession planning, etc., in water utilities. So I'm just saying this because practically 1 month from now, we will be having the first actual week, and in addition to the financial topics and the fun from Vasil, we are also going to have some organizational and HR aspects. That's the form, that's the financial and organizational management. You will hear from us towards the end of this month. In the 1st of June, it will be a much deeper induction or introduction or whatever we call them, again done by Sylvia and Vasil, and some words from myself again. And then in the middle of June, in the beginning of the second part of June, the week of 14th, we are going to have the actual first week. We call it residential, but this one will be entirely online due to pandemic, due to the fact that finance can be delivered online with the fun, Vasil. And that's it. Now, slightly behind schedule, I would like to move to the second module, and I would ask Sylvia and Vasco to turn off their cameras if they wish, and thank them again. And I would invite Christian, who will be covering Lenka from Energy, and York to switch on their cameras. Thank you, gentlemen. I'll make a personal revelation. I mean, I am coordinating this program, but in the commercial management and customer service, I'm stepping in as a trainer myself. I kind of ignored that and didn't prepare a deliberate presentation. And for the purposes of introducing the module, I will use the slide which I briefly showed you half an hour ago when I was talking about the overall sequence of the modules. So without wasting more time, I just want to take like 5-6 minutes and tell you a bit more about the commercial management and customer service module conceptually and content-wise, and then I will pass the floor to Christian and York. The commercial management program is very much based on the commercial efficiency. The commercial management and customer service module is very much based on the commercial efficiency program under the Danube Learning Partnership, which was designed some years ago. And this program is organized around a concept. And this concept is that the commercial management is a chain, and it's a chain of 4 major building blocks. The first one is the meter management. By meter management, we mean the meter installation, the calibration, the testing, the replacement, etc. The management of the meter as a technical device. Then we have the meter reading and topics like automated meter reading or automated metering infrastructure, remote meter reading, etc. Control over the meter readers, all these topics. So that's the second chunk. The third one is the billing. This extremely data-intensive process that we are going to, that each utility has, no matter how small a water company is. Water utilities have their billing engines, or at least I've not seen a water utility that does not have some software system for billing. And last but not least, collection. Topics like how you manage data related to cash collection, how you design and produce monthly reports, segmentation of the debt. Topics like outsourcing of cash collection, soft versus door-to-door collection, decisions if and when to outsource, legal collection. Probably we may invite some more contemporary things like nudge collection. I very recently heard about that technology, and now I'm speaking with someone who is developing that, so we may give them the floor for 1 hour during the course, etc. So all these topics, these 4 heavily interrelated and sequential elements are the core concept of the commercial management topic in the UMT. In addition to that, I mean, for all of these, we are going to have examples, reflections, discussions, facilitated by Energia AG, our partners from Austria and Bohemia in the Czech Republic. Christian and York will tell us more. In addition to the commercial, to the hard topics of commercial management, we are going to have a day or 2 on customer service. This combination of setting up the various channels for communication with the customers, the call centers, where we'll go into some technicalities on how to structure a call center, IVRs, statistics, etc. Web servicing of customers, making customer register on the customer portals, electronic services, some specific topics related to how utilities handled customer interface and customer communication during COVID will be covered. And I think it's fair to say that in all our modules, we are heavily relying and working in partnership with utilities, Sofia Water, Belgrade, Tirana, Duras, some others. But in the face of Energia AG, we have a really detailed and strong partner, and we'll do our best in putting together this module to make sure that all of these concepts and topics are presented within the practices that the companies in their group deploy, for which we're really grateful to the colleagues. And by saying that, I would pass the floor to Christian so he can share with us some thoughts on how their company will intervene and make the module really practical. The floor is yours, Christian, and thank you.
Thank you, Rado. Yeah, I think you already described quite well what will be the content of the module. Maybe I take you for a short journey through this week as it's designed now for the visit of the participants in Czech Republic, most probably in České Budějovice. Just to give you more insight what we plan to do during this week and what you can expect to see there. I don't have a presentation, but I think it's quite easy to describe it this way. When you come to České Budějovice, you will in any case see what you see behind on my screen, because that's let's say the headquarter of Energie AG in the Czech Republic, and some of the offices and workshops you will have the chance to see around this old historic water tower you see freshly renovated in the background. So as Rado already said, we will start, or on the first day we'll start with a general description of this commercial cycle, and to get a better understanding, this first day that will also be the content of describing the business and the organization, how it's done in our biggest company in the Czech Republic. It's called Čevak. So to get a better understanding on the commercial cycle, you have, of course, to know the business model, the key data, the organization of this company, and of its departments dealing with the issues Rado already described. An absolutely important issue is also the interconnection of all these processes and departments, and out of this is a major part also on this first day. So the processes in the departments, but also how they are interconnected. We already heard today that digitalization is the topic nowadays and for the future. So IT structure in relation to the processes, in relation to the departments, is absolute essentially, and it's an ongoing process to develop this area of the company. IT structure and security, of course, so you will get a general overview on the topic with a focus on the commercial functions, and again the interfaces in between these corporate information systems. So that's more or less the program of the first day. Always enough time for discussion, questions. Second day is designed for metering. The roles and responsibilities of the Department of Metering, dealing with operational and customer meters, meter management, installations, exchange, calibration, and so on. Meter reading, the organization, how it's done today or has been done in the past, and how it is already done or will be done in the future in a digital world or in a digital way, to all the topic concerning smart meter, IoT connections or data transfer, and so on. Then also the topic in relation smart meter for customers. What can be the advantage for customers using smart meter data? And also visiting the meter workshop of the company Čevak, where the meters are calibrated, and there you can see in practical life how this is done, and what's happening in this, let's say, workshop and back office of metering. On the third day, probably the most important one, we are getting serious talking about billing and cash. The Department of Finances, the role of this department, responsibilities, again, interconnecting with all the other departments. the frequency of billing, workflows from readouts to the bill, customer information systems, analysis of consumption and so on, cash collection, receivables. I think a challenging day, especially for the technicians, probably not so much for the financial guys, or challenges for the legal guys and the technicians probably, but nevertheless, absolutely necessary to know about how it's organized, how it's done, and how it's interconnected. Another visit is planned, a visit of this historic water tower. You are seeing in my background, there's also a customer information center, and I'm sure you will have the chance and will enjoy this part of the day too. Fourth day, customer services. I have to say, it's one of my most preferred topics. A lot of the water utilities, of course not the ones are participating today. The customer as a customer is often not existing. So the normal relationship between a customer and the utility is getting a bill which is not such a positive event. So what I want to stress especially is we have to care about the customer, and we cannot see him just as a guy which has to pay the bill which we send him once a month or 4 times a year or once a year. So Department of Customer Service, service centers, what are the roles, responsibility, and again, interconnection to the other departments. Which points of customers do we have? Because we do have much more than just the bill. We have contacts with our operational staff, decentralized offices out in the regions, service centers, service portals, internet, digital channels, social media, and so on and so on. And related to the last, also of course dealing with GDPR and so data security and lessons learned out of COVID-19 and keeping customer service running and up to date. And we also plan, if possible anyway, to have a visit of the customer service center. And if we have the time, you maybe can sit on one of the agents sitting there and maybe also have a look with which issues they have to deal throughout the day or throughout the hour we are able to participate on this. So these are the topics more in detail. Rado before gave an overview to and on the last day it's planned either to have, of course, there will be the chance to have other visits of especially, or for example, water treatment plant or wastewater treatment plant, but it's also possibility just to have the time to maybe participate on a management meeting, having a discussion, reflect on the lessons learned out of the last 4 days. So this is the schedule for this week, which is planned to have a visit in České Budějovice, and I really hope in autumn, when we come nearer to some, let's say, more or less COVID-free time, it's possible to do this in České Budějovice, and I hope to see you there and can welcome you there. Maybe Jörg, you can give a short wrap up, and then we will, I think, give back to Rado afterwards. Thanks for the moment.
Thanks for the handover, Christian. I hope everyone can hear me. As you see in the background, I'm sitting in the kitchen. I moved my office because the best parties are always in the kitchen, I heard. Let's stay on the behalf of the Energie AG. I welcome you to the starting shot of UMT seminar, and at the same time for the first lesson today. My name is Jörg Karluber. I'm a member of the management of Energie AG, same as Christian. Christian is my colleague, and Energie AG Bohemia is currently a commissioner of 13 associated companies with almost about nearly 2,000 employers in the Czech segment. So from the point of view of an owner representative of operating companies, I can explain the perspective of this utility management training. Maybe in a few words, and let's answer the question why. So there is always the why in the middle. Why are we doing this? Why is it necessary? Does it make sense? So why is such a utility management training so interesting and perhaps also or maybe necessary for the operating company on the one hand and the participants in the courses on the other? As an operating company, you operate on a free market. So Energie AG Bohemia is really moving on a free market. So we are not in a sheltered workshop or let's say without any competitive pressure or any economic pressure. So on the free market, the know-how and the technical expertise is that necessary, and also to have a good feeling on the technical field. So there are some decisive factors in order to qualify yourself for an operation of this complex infrastructure. So maybe some of you would say, well, that's not the rocket science what we're talking about here right now, but it's really essential because there are some main topics which need some expertise. So at this point, it should be said that there is no school-based specialist training. So there is no educational part for our special business area, and that most of the team of operating staff and technology are successful lateral entrants. So these are electricians and some other guys and ladies from several subsidies, and let's say that way it's not that easy to get that perfect educated staff. So where does the technical expertise come from, at least? On the one hand, we got the training on our utilities. Usually that runs automatically. It's some kind of tandem pedalist. So you got this experienced one and also the new one. Yeah, that takes about 1, 2, 3, 5, maybe also 2 years. You have a get together just to hand over all these issues which had to be mentioned at that time. And so where does the technical experience come from if it's necessary to look over the border? There are much more interesting things we are confronted in this area. Let's pronounce in this case Industry 4.0. You know, everyone is talking about digitalization. That's also in our business and a main topic. So the view of the expanded to include the multiple and of requirements in the complex interactions. So everyone is in this auditorium is maybe an expert in his own field, but it is also important to think outside the box. And the gain of understanding is also necessary to have some interrelationships between the areas of technology, IT, logistics, accounting, cost accounting, or communication, and so on. In other words, let's say that way, a technical guy should also have to deal with some commercial issues. For instance, the investment budget. So in order to get a feeling for the bigger picture, it's necessary. And because it's that necessary, because cash is the fuel of our business, to get this step further. And that's the way to Industry 4.0, like smart metering and so on. as a non-municipal company in particular, the situation is much more difficult and maybe a little bit more wider. So the keywords, as Christian said, the customer should be in the middle and should be a part of the daily business. Not only water loss and maybe some contract calculation, which is also very necessary, and these should also be highlighted. But the aim of this UMT should be that we have a best practice, we have some expertise here, we have some sharing some experience, and in the water industry, it's that necessary to have this expertise, because every company is running different, but maybe we can get the best of each of the ideas, of each of the experiences we get. So take the opportunity to share your experiences with others in this group and of professionals, and it's a unique opportunity, and I think it's also an honor, and it should be a recognition of the performance of the participants and employers to have the opportunity to complete this further training. So all the best, good luck, and have a good start. Greetings from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jörg. Thank you very much. Thank you, Christian. I mean, the overall support that we're getting from your company is greatly appreciated. And as Christian said in his words, one of the things which we will appreciate even more is to immerse the participants in the program in the management decision making of your company through discussions, through potential some sort of simulated participation in a management meeting or whatever feasible approach we figure out. I have the pleasure of having been to Bohemia, visited your company, and very much looking forward to do it again. So thank you. That's everything related to the second module, commercial management and customer service. And with that, I would move to the last module that we are covering today, which is also going to be the final module for this calendar year, asset management and investment planning. I would here invite Alexander Sotic and Maya Medinica to thank you. You did it. I don't need to tell what you need to do. A couple of very quick introductory words on my side, and then I pass the floor to Alexander. This module, I mean, Serbia and UTC particularly, and Belgrade Water have been long-term partners for asset management under the Danube Water program. I mean, these colleagues have tremendous experience from conceptual management level, but also from down-to-earth operations, technical level of what asset management means. Quite a few utilities in the region have received trainings and support by Alexander, Maya, and the colleagues around them. So this was one of the very logical partners for the utility management training and asset management is a very logical module in the whole thing. It makes a lot of sense that the asset management comes before the other technical areas like networks, like energy efficiency, like plants, because you need to get the overall methodology and concept of describing, categorizing, and managing your assets before we moved into topic by topic. We will make an attempt to not only cover the very technical topics, but also briefly move towards some non-technical aspects of asset management and investment planning. But the real core of this topic is the generic asset management, which luckily these days is a very generic area of the water utility business. Let me stop here, pass the floor to Alexander so he tells us more about the topic and the module.
Okay, thank you, Rado. Hi to all, yes. First to say that just to share the screen, sorry, I have some presentation, okay. My name is Alexander Sotic. I'm civil engineer with background in academy and water utility. I'm member of Serbian Water Association. I am also a member of a training team which will lead you through this asset management module. And just to say that we are very honored we are part of this very promising utility management training. As Rado presents, asset management is a third in a row. My team will be focused on first part of this module, asset management, while other colleagues will give you the other topic. A few words about Serbian Water Association. Precisely, it's the name of that is Association for Water Technology and Sanitary Engineering, is founded 60 years ago. Asset Management Working Group is founded in 2013 based on some a huge effort and support of German government. Association is scientific professional association that brings together experts, institutions and companies in the field of water supply, wastewater and environmental protection. The most important activities includes publishing of publications and journals, organization of seminars, workshops, conferences, exhibitions, but also professional trainings and cooperation on both domestic and international level. I'm frequently used to give my motto in the last time. From Professor Levison from US, she said that first step in solving any problem is to understand it. We often propose solutions to problems that we do not understand, and then we are surprised when the solutions fail to have the anticipated effect. So much of our attention we put on the comprehension of our water system, as the subtitle of this training is have the word holistic. Our water system should be perceived as a whole, not just some little elements, not to solve the problems in isolation, but to have we need to have a perception of the system as a whole. So first we will speak about that holistic approach. Many holistic approach we are facing now in medicine, in all kind of acting, but we will spend some words about holism in water systems. We will speak about functional system behavior. What is the functional control structure of our system? We are because physical form is just the bottom level, but we have operator, we have some local government. Our systems runs in national context. We are in Europe. We have some directives which should be incorporated in our daily process. Leading the process. So we will put we will shed the light on this functional screen. We will actually also consider how systems are functioning, how the system fail in some unwanted stages. So asset management is actually a philosophy. It is approach. So we need some change in perspective. how we look in the problem, not to look in the problems in isolation, but to have we have to make framework and have overview in a whole system. In that sense, life cycle phases are one of the key and one of the core elements of asset management. We will shed a light on all life cycle phases, and because we need to have early considerations of asset management aspects, and to move our attention in early life cycle phases. So Rado also explained that asset management and investment planning module aims to offer the participants systematic knowledge on asset management and utilize that knowledge for investment planning. In that sense, I will give you one of the primal asset management definitions with 6 whys. What do we own and where is that? This is specific because we are living in informatic societies. Digitalization is, we are in digitalization era. So this is connected with geographic informational systems, so that the location of assets is one of the core attributes of our system. How much does it cost? What we own, yes. What volume is deferred maintenance? In what conditions are assets? What is the remaining lifespan of assets? What to fix first? These definitions is from late 1990s from Canadian investigator Dana Vanier, but this is the very picturesque describing what is asset management. But there are many perceptions about what asset management is. We will give you dozens, 20, 30 definitions of what is asset management. So this is very tricky word. But we will narrow that with some of key elements. We will speak about plans of the organization on the different levels, strategic, tactical, and operation levels. We will speak about stakeholders, about roles of each of them, about rights, obligations, responsibilities. We will speak about asset life cycle. We will speak about risks, because some of investigators said that asset management is a kind of risk management. Some US investigators. We will speak about conditions, current conditions, functions, performance, and physical conditions of assets. We will speak about objectives of the water systems, about its function, performance. And also to cover all, my favorite also definition of asset management is that asset management is a way to managing the system, so to managing the whole by managing each element of the system. So we combine top-down and bottom-up approach. So this is also very crucial because water utilities operates in different kind of contexts, whether they are in Germany or in Serbia, in Slovenia, in Czech Republic, etc., etc. So it is not the same. The concept is the same, but every analysis should be aware of wider context. Rado also presented some technical details. So this third module will be delivered in at the end of 2021. November or January. So we are happy to see you in Belgrade or to deliver it online. Thank you all for the opportunity to introduce our model just briefly, and now Maya will continue.
Thank you, Alexander. Once again, good afternoon, everybody. I'm happy to be part of this program. I'm also saying hello to all participants and panelists, and of course for IAVD and other organizers and sponsors. My name is Maja Medenica. I'm civil engineer, hydraulic engineer, working the last 20 years in Belgrade Waterworks and Sewer. Currently, I am head of Asset Management Center in Belgrade Utility, and also, as Alexander said, I'm Asset Management Hub team center team member. This hub is organized and established thanks to World Bank and IAVD in 2014. Since that time, we trained and share our knowledge with more than 50 utilities from our region. So we are very proud of that. As you all know, water supply system present a great value of all infrastructure in cities, and also it presents a great national value. This asset management approach is step-by-step approach, and it's a long-term, how to say, long-term journey. I think that we can work on that until our retirement. So to good manage a system, as Alexander said, it's very important to know our system well and to make all decisions based on existing data. I will share in brief our Belgrade experience. We started asset management, to work on asset management in 2006 during international projects, and until now, so last 15 years, we became a leader in the region in that area. So we started very ambitious with more than 30 people going out on the field collecting data, and also collecting data about water and sewer network from other sources. And our aim was to create an asset register, one central database when we have all data about our network. On top of this, we collect and insert all data about measurement devices, about our connections, customers, all other data that is relevant, like job cards. So everything is put on one place, and all knowledge of all our employees and from the history is now put on one place. So we are very proud that now can have more than 1 million data in that database. And we are aware where our network is, in which condition are. For example, our water network is more than 4,000 kilometers long, and we know all the details now. So this is very important to manage the system well if you have all these informations. Of course, we have dedicated teams, and all sections and departments have its own role in this process. We make all plans and strategic based on this. So we can say that all benefits of asset management are that you can make decisions based on good data, that you can look ahead and better planning the future, that you can have a better communication between sections and between stakeholders. And also what is very important, to take care and to preserve all experience and knowledge from the employees, because you have this kind of experience, that some knowledge go with the people who go who leave the company forever. So all these things and asset management approach in BVK in our company result better planning for rehabilitation of water and sewer network, better planning of material, human resources. Of course, we are making a better reduction of water losses, and also we know what is exact value of our own system. So we will talk and we will share our experience with participants. This is just one small part, and we are happy that we can expand our knowledge to others and to help our colleagues to better manage their system. So thank you once again for to be patient, to stay with us, and we are looking forward to have a nice program at the end of this year.
Thank you very much, Maya. Thank you, Alexander. I'm sure that during this module, and hopefully we visit Belgrade physically, which I believe will be the case in the autumn, it will. I also believe that this will give you an opportunity as asset management practitioners, but also as people who are able to conceptualize the topic, to stimulate a discussion between the participants, because looking at the participants and the utilities that they represent, I believe geographic information systems and asset management systems or modules or methodologies are implemented, have been implemented in the various participants, so they will be able to share what they have and to compare practical but also methodological approaches. So really looking forward for discussing these things with you towards the end of the year. Also very important for your module will be that we'll be looking for some overlaps with other modules, the link between GIS and billing, the link between assets and customers, the link between assets and finance, particularly in the area of CapEx and investment planning, but we'll get there in about 6 months. Thank you very much again. And as we are slightly behind schedule, not much, I have to say, I would like to thank everyone, particularly those of you who kept with us till the end, participants, organizers, trainers, everyone. Just a reminder to, particularly to the participants and for those of you who are still considering the program, that tomorrow we'll continue with presenting the other 5 modules, starting again at 2 o'clock Central European Time. And on behalf of the team here, IWD's team, Phil, Kati, Walter, I would like to thank everyone for being around. We do believe that we are starting something meaningful, and looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Thank you very much and have a good evening.